Let's watch Bojo, aka Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Bojo got booed at the Platinum Jubilee because he is a big party boy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the UK, as you guys remember, during COVID, that was a thing. It was a pandemic. Here in America, we didn't really experience it. We don't know what COVID is, but like in the rest of the world, during the pandemic, there were what is known as lockdowns, okay? Serious lockdown measures were put in place, and family members were unable to see one another. You know, you had like people literally dying away from the rest of their loved ones in hospitals, alone, scared. You know, it was a pretty dark time. Well, meanwhile, while that was going on in the rest of the world, Boris Johnson, and specifically in the UK, Boris Johnson, who originally had famously said, you know, we're going to take it on the fucking chin. That's right. We're going to take COVID on the chin, bruv, and it's going to be fine. And then he turned around and said, all right, never mind. I was wrong about that. I have COVID. Who then, of course, reinstituted lockdown measures, announced the lockdown 3 weeks before Christmas, but then continued the party. Bojo had a I'm a party girl in a party world moment, and he was outed. It was a work event, bruv. Yes. So Bojo was caught partying, and the British people actually got very upset. Here it is. The BBC actually edited out their booze during their evening news show.
Queen welcomes them as someone they're part of her family.
The Prime Minister just arriving with his wife.
It's quite booing in the crowd there.
Well, and you can hear it. There is really quite a lot of booing, actually.
Wow.
A substantial amount.
Boo, you nutter!
It's quite a moment.
Fuck you, Bojo! Boo! Come on, England! Score some fucking goals! They're understandably mad at him. And for the record, the reason why they're mad at him is completely reasonable. It's just that in America, we're such goddamn cucks that it is unimaginable to be upset at like Governor Gruesome, Gavin Newsom, or Nancy Pelosi, or numerous other people for like violating their own lockdown measures for an extended period of time. It is literally like not even a thing. All right, let's do the background on Boris now. Okay, so he got booed. Let's watch.
Of Boris Johnson, from the day he was born to the day he became Prime Minister. June 1964. Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson is born in New York. His earliest recorded ambition is to become World King. 1983. Johnson becomes a leading member of Oxford University's male-only Bullingdon Club. During his tenure, the club's members indulge in sexist taunting, vandalism, restaurant trashing, bullying and ritual humiliation of the poor. One recruiter for the club...
Dude, I love that, dude. That's so British to be like, yes, we engage in a bit of, we're having a little bit of a rout, you know, fancy. We loved to taunt the working poor, of course.
Vandalism, restaurant trashing, bullying and ritual humiliation of the poor.
Pleb taunting. I think like one of the most disgusting examples that where like a caste system is so apparent and so visible, it's a little bit different than like, I would go so far as to say it's a little bit different than like America, where like the American small business tyrants love LARPing as the working class. They love LARPing as the working class, and like they don't do this level of like transparent, like fuck the poor type behavior. Whereas, of course, in the UK, the elitist, partially because they have like, lordship still and they have the monarchy, openly show their disdain for the working poor on a regular basis. It's really interesting to see. Like, it's not, you normally don't see this sort of stuff, I think, in America to this degree. Obviously, you have horrific disdain for the homeless, and certainly, like, the American bourgeois are not fans of the working class in general, but it's never this aggressively brazen, open. It's because the working class is more controlled in America. Why do people feed such parasites? Because we have peasant mindset that come from a long line of peasantry that turn around and go, no, my lord, it's actually good. It's actually good, my lord. Someone needs to take care of all this power. Someone needs to control everything, my lord. That's the way that Americans operate, and that's exactly the way that the fucking British operate. No matter how independent we see ourselves here in the United States of America, we love the boot. We do. And the British openly love the boot. They suck and fuck the boot. And here in America, we do it as well. It's the same exact attitude of like not wanting any change and not wanting to change society for the better. and wanting things to remain the same with the hopes that like maybe you individually here in America can one day become the oppressing bourgeois class as well, which will, of course, in many instances never happen for you, but it doesn't matter. Just live with that dream.
1987. At the age of 23, Johnson marries the daughter of a millionaire art historian. Fresh out of university and aided by family connections, he lands a traineeship at the Times newspaper. 1988. Johnson is sacked as a trainee at the Times for making up a quote on his first front-page story. 1991. According to a friend of Johnson's wife, an incident occurs in which Johnson displays his frightening temper, after which his wife turns up at the friend's flat in Brussels looking shocked, scared and on the brink of tears. The marriage soon deteriorates as Johnson begins an affair with a barrister. 1993. Johnson gets his barrister girlfriend pregnant and is soon divorced for the first time. 1994. He is now a columnist for The Telegraph and The Spectator magazine.
By the way, yeah, he couldn't cut it in the Times. And in the Spectator magazine, Boris Johnson wrote a fuckload of incredibly racist bullshit, for the record, including but not limited to calling Muslim women. What did he famously call them? I mean, he's like defended blackface, called Muslim women letterboxes. Just a horrible monster for the most part.
His columns include racially charged invectives such as slamming Nelson Mandela for the, quote, tyranny of black majority rule in post-apartheid South Africa and describing Chinese workers as, quote, puffing coolies. 1995, he describes the children of single mothers as, quote, ill-raised, ignorant, aggressive and illegitimate, saying it is, quote, outrageous that married couples should pay for the single mother's desire to procreate independently of men.
You know, regular fucking conservative shit. They have this is the British version of that, by the way. This is exactly what you hear from conservatives out here, you know what I mean? This is it.
In the same piece, he dismisses working class men as, quote, likely to be drunk, criminal, aimless, feckless and hopeless. 2000. Johnson begins a relationship with one of his employees. He promises...
By the way, this dude fucked a lot, which is really interesting. You know when you watch like, French cinema, you're like, wow, they always use like super ugly people as famous characters in these roles, you know what I mean? And it's the same as it is in the UK, I guess, where like homie just literally looks hard to look at. Like Ted Cruz would be a fucking UK 7. It's wild that he fucked this much. It is absolutely fucking wild. They need to shut the island down and figure out what the hell is going on. Do you understand? I mean, this dude fucked like a lot, dude.
Promises her that he will leave his wife to marry her. He does not leave his wife. 2001, breaking his promise to the owner of The Spectator, Johnson stands to be an MP. He now promises voters in Henley that if they vote for him, he will step down as editor of The Spectator. That June, he becomes MP for Henley. He does not step down as editor of The Spectator. In a book he writes during the election campaign, Johnson compares equal marriage to a union between 3 men and a dog. 2000.
Wow, incredible. Was he perhaps writing a dissent in the? Was he Boris Johnson, or was he actually the United States Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia? For those of you who don't know, that was an actual Supreme Court argument from Antonin Scalia, rest in piss. He literally wrote pretty much that. He was like, what's next? The slippery slope? We let two men get married? What's next? A man and a dog? Likening gay marriage to bestiality. That was a Supreme Court of the United States. Like, that was one of my first things that I read in my constitutional law class that made me go, oh, and I think a lot of people don't have this kind of attitude, but like that was one of the first instances where I was like, oh, this is all bullshit. When I read that, I was like, oh, these guys are just they're just throwing shit at a fucking board, seeing what sticks. Like that literally, once I read the slippery slope fallacy of like gay marriage would open up the door to a man marrying a dog, I was like, oh my God, I will never take this seriously ever again. From that moment on, I was like, oh no, this whole notion of like, reading and interpreting the Supreme Court, interpreting the fucking Constitution as anything but a living, breathing document is a silly one. That's when I was like, yeah, no, these guys are completely nonsense. They're doing nonsense.
2002, writing in The Spectator, Johnson defends British colonialism in Africa, saying, the problem is not that we were once in charge, but that we are not in charge anymore. Left to their own devices, the natives would rely on nothing but the instant carbohydrate gratification of the plantain.
Dude, you're fat. You don't know how to fucking raise anything yourself personally. And then you turn around and like make fun of the natives and say they're like barbaric or whatever. At least they're fucking jacked. That's one. And two, I need to stress something here, okay? The lack of self-awareness in Boris Johnson's commentary as a man who is quite literally a deadbeat dad. We do not know how many children he has. How many children does Boris Johnson have? We don't know. Could be 6, could be 10. He literally piped non-fucking stop and would routinely cheat on his wives, as we saw, okay? Is it 6? Is it 7? Is it 10? And then he would turn around and write articles about like single mothers being whores. Like, dog, what are you doing? You can't be out there fucking, spreading semen like that and then be like, oh man, single mothers, they create malcontent children. It's like, dude, yeah, your children, you fucking idiot.
Telegraph, he describes black Africans as, quote, flag-waving pickaninnies with watermelon smiles.
Bro, how wild is that? Like, a guy who wrote that actually is the prime minister. Like, yeah. I mean, I've covered Boris. It's not surprising to me. I've covered Boris Johnson for many, many years. He is of Ottoman descent. He's doing what I'm doing in America, but he's doing that in England. Like, we're taking over the country. Me, Dr. Oz, Boris Johnson, and Escontad, Yo, I think he's racist, yeah. Fellas, this Boris guy may not have the best ideas.
And Shadow Arts Minister. 2004, rumours circulate that Johnson has got one of his employees pregnant, resulting in her having an abortion. Johnson slams the suggestion as, quote, complete balderdash and an inverted pyramid of piffle, and assures Conservative Party leader Michael Howard that the claim is untrue. In reality, the rumours are entirely true. Johnson is sacked from his position as Tory vice chair.
Oh, when I say I'm doing the same thing as Boris Johnson, I meant like overtaking the American government from within to do fifth column shit.
And Shadow Minister for lying to the party leader.
As a Turk.
2005, Johnson steps down as editor of The Spectator. Advising his successor on how to deal with a senior female colleague, he says, just pat her on the bottom and send her on her way.
This is a little too racist for me, bro. You're taking it too lightly. I'm not taking it too lightly. I've covered this a million times over, and it doesn't, at this point, I'm unfazed by it because, you want to know why? Because the British people didn't give a fuck. And actually, the racist piece of shit British media, for the most part, that's like absolutely fucking Tory-backed and nonsense themselves, literally completely avoided this side of the reality and hyper-focused on, Jeremy Corbyn and how Corbyn wanted to like murder every Jewish person or something because he said Palestinians are human beings. Remember that happening? Remember when that happened? That was very cool when the British media also were way more focused on a man like Corbyn who has dedicated his entire fucking life to fighting against injustices, fighting against apartheid, fighting against injustices, fighting for the marginalized people, working class background. They fucking destroyed that man, dude, because he was too good. Smeared him nonstop, destroyed him with fucking accusations that he was anti-Semitic. And those accusations were so powerful that like a gigantic chunk of the Jewish population in England unironically were like contemplating leaving the country or some shit if Corbyn won. Like, literally, they created mass fucking hysteria in the country. Hysteria is a bit of an over-exaggeration. You think it wasn't hysterical? You think the people and their attitude towards Corbyn, because everything that was in the media about Corbyn was about how much of an anti-Semite he was and how much anti-Semitism was happening in the fucking Labour Party, at the same time when, like, the Tories were literally putting up a fucking statue for notorious anti-Semite Hitler supporter, first ever female MP. What the fuck's her face? God damn it. Yeah, Nancy Astor. Thank you. Exactly. They unveiled a Nancy Astor fucking statue while the media was like, yeah, no, we need to focus on Corbyn being a fucking being an anti-Semite. It's like, bro, are you kidding me? And his party played along with it as well. No, his party played along with it as well. Internally, they 100% were doing the same shit that the media was doing. Internally, they kept saying, like, Corbyn there is anti-Semitism in the labor. There's anti-Semitism in the labor. They held up reports. They actually fucking refused to investigate certain shit. Like, the party internally fucked him over as well. The Brits in the chat saying this isn't how they remember it, must have been living on the moon or some shit. Yeah, no, it's wild. Maybe it's because I just like was following from afar and didn't actually what is this? Someone from the UK here? That's not how this was at all. Corbyn was a knob as a UK citizen. This is not what I recall happening. Yeah, dude, because you're probably a fucking liberal who likes Keir Starmer and loves NATO and loves fucking all this other shit, okay? That's why. If you can't even fucking defend the bottom of the barrel, which Corbyn is, just a good guy, okay? Just a overwhelmingly good guy. Same with Bernie Sanders. If you can't even fucking defend Corbyn, if you can't comprehend the smear machine that destroyed him, I don't know what to tell you. Like, why are you a leftist, dude? Why do you call yourself a leftist? Maybe you're not. Oh, they also did the whole, like, Corbyn lives in a really fucking rich area, too. Remember that? They did that to him, too. They were like, wow, look at this. Oh, here it is. Was it the nuisance neighbours? Terraced house next door to Jeremy Corbyn's Islington home is on sale, but at 925,000 quid. Only a real champagne socialist could afford it. The Labour leader has criticised the Tory government for the rising cost of housing in the country, but Mr Corbyn's North London neighbourhood is hardly bursting with affordable accommodation. This property, next door to his own home, is on the market for an eye-watering asking price of 925,000. This is his fucking house, dude. Hey, maybe, does that sound familiar, by the way, guys? Does that sound familiar? Maybe many of the friends of the show will recognize this kind of line of attack. Bernie Sanders, 3 homes. Jeremy Corbyn, look at how expensive and lavish his lifestyle is. Your lifestyle does not have to actually be fucking lavish. Look at the house. This house is $1 million, right? The asking price of this fucking house is $1 million. When Jeremy Corbyn says housing prices are fucking insane, this is what he's talking about. And I mean, these are like little bits and pieces of like the kind of mass campaign, mass smear campaign that fucking destroyed everything. Yeah, there it is. Jeremy Corbyn accused of anti-Semitism for the pronunciation of Epstein's name. And then this guy won as a consequence of that.
2008, Johnson becomes mayor of London. 2009, he fathers a child with an unpaid advisor to City Hall. 2013, the Court of Appeal throws out an injunction that has until now prevented...
The amount of shit that reactionaries can get away with is incredible, dude. This man has already fathered like 11 children at this point. He's like routinely fucking milking funds and like giving it to his friends in every position of power. He's a racist piece of shit. None of that matters. But hey, it's actually Corbyn that's the fucking... It's actually Corbyn that's the problem. It's actually Corbyn that's the problem. He's an anti-Semite. We got to work on that.
To Johnson being named as the father of the child. 3 judges rule that the public has a right to know about Johnson's, quote, reckless behaviour. By now, Johnson is having an affair with an American technology entrepreneur. Her company will receive £26,000 of public money while Johnson is mayor. She will later receive a £100,000 government grant intended for UK operating businesses, even after relocating to California the previous year. 2014, Johnson denies at least 17 times that he will stand as an MP while still in post as Mayor of London. 2015, Johnson stands as an MP while still in post as Mayor of London. 2018, Johnson resigns as Foreign Secretary and returns to his £250,000 a year job.
How can someone fail upwards so much? Be a fucking wealthy aristocrat and also work on the side of like uplifting the same oppressive hierarchies. That's it. That's why it's so fucking funny whenever dumbasses are like, dude, Hasan, you're such a grifter. Dude, if I was a grifter, I would just be a conservative. Like, it is literally the easiest, cushiest fucking thing on the planet, you idiot. Wealthy people love being defended, okay? They will do everything. They love people who go out and say, no, the rich aren't the problem, actually. Being a conservative mouthpiece is easy for numerous reasons, but it's definitely a financially incredibly viable option. Nah, you just found a good niche. Yeah, totally, dude. I did. You know, that's why. By the way, I love when 2 month subscribers are saying this. Dude, I found a good niche for what, the past 10 years? Like, you know what I mean? I've been just doing this niche for the past 10 years, getting fucking owned into oblivion over and over again. And it's such a good niche that there are so many viable examples of like leftists who are super successful and financially successful, and not like literally a handful of people. I know that person is joking, but that is a very real thing that people say all the time.
As a columnist for the Daily Telegraph. He's soon using his column to label women who wear burqas as, quote, letterboxes. His brother Leo, who's married to a Muslim, slams Johnson for his, quote, bigotry. In the week following his outburst, Islamophobic incidents increase across the UK by almost 400%. Almost half of all reported in-person abuse directly references Boris Johnson or the language he used. Johnson is now having an affair with Carrie Symonds, a former communications director for the Conservative Party. Johnson and his wife will soon separate. 2019, police are called to Symonds' South London flat after reports of a serious altercation. Neighbours report hearing a woman screaming, followed by slamming and banging. Symonds is reportedly heard screaming at Johnson to, quote, get off me and get out of my flat. Symonds will soon be expecting a baby. It is the 5th time as a married man that Johnson has made another woman, who isn't his wife, pregnant.
How fucking nuts is that, dude? Tabloid that loves palace intrigue and shit like that totally avoided Boris Johnson. Like, didn't actually talk about the million affairs that he's had. How nuts. How bananas, dude.
On the 19th of July, following an internal Conservative Party coup against Theresa May, Johnson fulfills his lifetime ambition and becomes Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Everything in this film was known before the Tory party made him Prime Minister. His tenure has been an administrative and a moral failure. The question now is, what will Conservative MPs do about it?
And I mean, this is how it goes, man. This is how it fucking goes. The part of the reason why, you know, people didn't pay attention to this and didn't care about it is because we are like moths, okay? We look at we get like a light source and we lose our fucking minds. And ultimately, even if he gets fucking voted out, or even if he doesn't get voted out and ultimately is forced to resign or whatever because he didn't get enough of a percentage of confidence from his own party, it still doesn't matter. Revealed how Labour leader's joyless approach to life and failure to recognize women's feelings drove his first wife away before he started a year-long affair with Diane Abbott. Wow. Thank God they covered this shit, dude. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson's on like his 8th fucking affair in his relationship. This person, this person was so fucking hyper-focused on his own goddamn work that like they didn't... He had a normal divorce and then had a normal affair. This is on the day of remembrance, upright after laying Poppy, followed by a 10-degree dip. They literally calculated his dip in the fucking newspaper to say he didn't bow on Remembrance Day, dude. So when I say the media was fucking psychotic about Corbyn and like attacked him relentlessly for anything and everything, I'm not comparing the impact that I have to any fucking viable leftist movement to what he has done, because he's an actual politician. He's been an activist his whole life. He's done a fuckload, okay? I'm just a goddamn dumbass Twitch streamer, and I don't do shit. But understand that, like, it's not all that different. It's not all that fucking weird. When you are a leftist, you get fucked. You get ass fucked on a daily fucking basis. There is no solidarity. There's no coalition building. Even the left is looking out to fuck you and out left you, okay, and say like, oh, well, you know, his position is untenable, unmanageable on this, that, whatever. There is no understanding of like solidarity there. It's just not. This is Signal Boost Navarro. They're one of the few. Oh, here he's
59 ballots were cast.
Every fucking
no
easy
ballots. That the vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes. And therefore, I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
Yeah, mate. Fucking here, mate. The Tories said no. We do have confidence in Boris. We have confidence in him. No, that's a fuckload of votes, chat. What are you, crazy? The fact that he got 100, what is it? That's really bad. He might actually... he might actually be forced to fucking resign inevitably. That's a huge amount of no confidence votes, dude. That's actually good.
Well, there you go. That is the results of the confidence motion. The cheers there, the support.
211 yes and 148 no's with a majority of 63%. That's right.
211 MPs said yes. 148 MPs said no.
Many there have been examples in the past in the UK of a Tory prime minister actually forced to resign once a percentage of the party has demonstrated that they do not have the 63 vote difference. Oh, not 63%. Sorry, 63 vote difference. Sorry, mathematics is not my strong suit. The difference is 63 votes. I apologize.
148 Conservative MPs saying they don't have confidence in the Prime Minister. Beth.
Theresa May was like 140 and resigned 6 months later.
Looking at that figure, you are going to be disappointed by that. That is a very disappointing result for Boris Johnson. A majority of just 63, 148 of his parliamentary party have signalled that they do not have confidence in him as Prime Minister. That is definitely on the upper end of estimations that I had been hearing today. As
I just don't think that like Boris Johnson will resign. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he's an incredibly shameless person and he doesn't give a shit.
Is how on earth can Boris Johnson really corral the party, get legislation through when 148 of his own backbenchers say that they no longer have confidence in him? You only need 40 MPs to consistently vote against Boris Johnson for him to lose his majority. And there you have 148. That will give him plenty of food for thought tonight. I should say, though, too, Sophie, that the Prime Minister has been very clear all of the way through this, as have his allies, that he has no intention of resigning.
Yeah,
he is
there you go.
Forced out of office. But that is a deeply uncomfortable result for him. And you have to ask after that, are we now going to
I think it
watch
was good
a period
seeing
of time
I think it was
Boris
good seeing
Johnson is
Boris
in
Johnson's
office,
video of
he's devised and
shamelessness
demonstrated
because
that he is
now
not
you get a
really
better feel
in
for
power.
why he will
He does
definitely
not
not
have the
resign. Do you
authority
understand?
over